In a previous tutorial, we covered an alternative to using the shrink wrap modifier or the texture paint workflow to project decals on surfaces. This is a follow-up tutorial in which we will study the basis of properly shading a decal so it blends in perfectly with its target. In order to avoid repeating the whole projection workflow for every decal, I wrote a short script that you can download in the description and install as an add-on. While we have the add-on window open, let's make sure the Node Wrangler and the Import Images as Plain add-on are turned on. So, how to bypass the projection workflow with the script? First of all, we obviously need a decal, so let's import one. And let's place it on the target like this. You can scale it down a little bit, rotate it, and move it away. Perfect. So first, select the target, or the targets if you have several. Then shift select the decal, and look for Quick Cast command in the object menu. You can right click and add a key map. I use Shift Ctrl Alt C for all time's sake. So let's click on Quick Cast, and done. It also has an extra feature that we'll cover later on this video. By default, the decal shader uses the image's color and alpha layers to mix a diffuse and a transparent shader. We can of course replace the diffuse shader by anything else, a glossy, a principal shader, or whatnot. Next case, the target uses an image texture for a map, here a normal map. Let's reapply the decal using our new shortcut. Of course, the good reflex is to add the same normal map via an image texture and a vector normal map node. But if we take a closer look and hide/unhide the decal, we can see the mapping of the target and the decals are not matching exactly. For example, this pattern here on the decal is not visible on the target. So that's very bad for my OCD. Now, with the decal still selected, let's take a look on the object data panel, and more specifically the UV map. We can notice that there are 3 of them. I mentioned earlier that the script had an extra feature, and it includes an additional step which is storing the target's UV map. So in the node setup, we simply have to add an UV map input and select the UV target one and connect it to the normal sphere vector input. And if we again hide/unhide the decal, the normals are matching as it should. Another similar case that you're likely to face is when the target uses a procedural map instead. So for the sake of this tutorial, I also use a normal map, which will look a little bit mushy in Eevee. So let's reapply the decal. So here it's pretty straightforward as well. Just copy the procedural mask from the target and paste it on the projected decal. Here, you just need to make sure that either the decal and the target share the same origin, or if they don't, make sure to use the same coordinate system as the target. So here, for example, if we change the decal origin to its geometry, and hide and unhide the decal, we can see the pattern are not matching exactly. But by using the target's coordinate system, then once again, the mappings are matching. Let's move on to another frequently used case, mixing shaders. In this case, some kind of chipped paint. Again, let's reapply the decal first. So for this example, I used a very basic setup, a principal shader, a metal shader, and a simple noise mask. Once the decal is projected, what we want is to get the damages visible also on the decal. So, like we did in the previous case, we first need to copy and paste the mask from the target to the decal. Then simply add a mix shader next to the one mixing the transparent and the principal shader. Move it to the second socket. Use the mask as a factor and use the transparent shader in the mask factor. Now if we isolate the decal, it looks super cool actually. Don't forget to also make sure the reference object is the target in the texture coordinate node in case origins are not matching. Alright, now we've covered most of the bases. In reality, materials are much more complex and combine all these different situations. The process will always depend on 1. What you want to achieve, and 2. The target shader. In this example, I want the decal to be very similar to the actual damage paint of the barrel. We can delete the complete node setup of the decal click on the barrel and copy-paste everything. I got this shader from BlendSwap, link is on the description, and I modified it a little bit to be more EV friendly with a baked normal map, and I also extracted the whole setup from its group, so it's easier for us to work with. That's actually something to be mindful of. You will often be in situations where you have to use someone's asset, so always take the time to look what's under its hood, understand how things work. You will learn a lot and get crispier results. If there's one thing to remember from this video, it's maybe actually this. So this shader looks scary at first, but you can quickly notice different things. There's a metallic shader that can be easily isolated. The color part consists in paint and grunge, and they have a shader each. All these three shaders are combined using two mixed shaders, and the factor inputs are a flake mask and an edge grunge mask. We can also notice there's a normal map here, and a texture coordinate. So let's start first by adding an image texture and use the decal. We want to keep the grunge part, so we only need to switch everything related to this yellow paint. And if we follow the noodle, we can see it's only connected to this reroute. So what we need to do is to take the color output of the image texture and connect it there. We can now update the texture coordinate with the barrel, and also the normal map. Now the last part, mixing all the shaders. As we learn, we first have to add a mixed shader. Let's not forget to import a transparent shader. And finally use the alpha layer of the image texture as the factor input for this mixed shader. And that's it. To summarize, the key is to understand how your target's shader is built and use the basic cases as a reference. From then, possibilities are infinite, and that makes it awesome. So have fun with your decals and see you next time!